So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to start to process and evaluate the thoughts of which we're perceiving. What we must understand is we are the thoughts which we are perceiving. We are not thoughts. We are perceiving thoughts. It's so important to comprehend that we are not our thoughts. We're perceiving thoughts. The thoughts which we're perceiving, we ultimately attach ourselves to. Once we attach ourselves to thoughts, we become the image of those thoughts. We are not the thoughts. We are the image of the thoughts. For example, we get jealous of a person. The jealousy of that person which we are perceiving, we are now perceiving that level of frequency, that level of existence of jealousy. And as long as we believe that that is truth, that we are jealous of that person, or we are jealous of that person, as long as we believe that's true, we will become that level of existence, whether that just means we're jealous of that person. And what we must understand is that everything is frequency, everything's energy. Jealousy, it's very low energy. The reason why it's low energy is because when you look at jealousy as existence, what it truthfully is that we're comparing our infinite possibility, our infinite essence of existence to one person. And it's not, jealousy itself, we must understand, isn't acknowledging and loving. Because, for example, we can acknowledge someone and love them and love their individuality, love their existence, love their positivity or their aura or whatever they're doing. We can love them and we can acknowledge them with love and happiness and amazement. We can be amazed of this person. We can say, wow, look how amazing that person is. We can use that person in a way of acknowledgement and self-growth. We can go, wow, that person. Jealousy itself is a frequency of frustration. Look at that person. Look what they're doing. Look how that person is. Why am I not like that? Why is that person more beautiful than me? Why is that person... This is just an example. When we basically judge someone against our own image, effectively jealousy is formed because we're judging someone against our own image, and judgment is effectively is producing jealousy. Judgment is then turning into jealousy. Judgment itself, we must understand, is a frequency, is an energy, is a thought. Where we're judging someone and convincing ourselves that that's true, we then become then become that essence of judgment, which is then transformed into jealousy. And then the jealousy, we're basically effectively becoming the essence of a jealous existence, which is very dense. The density of that truth is very heavy, because ultimately what we're doing is we're judging against our own infinite possibility, which is then putting us into our box of self-judgment, of self-insecurities. We could become, once we're in that existence, we could become insecure. We could become like, everyone is, I'm little me, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not, and it just goes deeper and deeper into our thoughts. And that is why, ultimately, what we must understand is that we are not our thoughts. We are only accepting thought. So if a thought comes into our heads like, look at that person, look how cool they are, it's all about, that's amazing, that's super good for that person. How am I going to become that cool? It's not about, look at that person's cooler than me. I don't like him. He's got, he must have other issues, just judgment. We must learn, and ultimately this is the key, is once we learn to escape the judgment, we ultimately learn to decipher the thoughts of the judgmental thoughts and the loving thoughts. Because the more we separate from our thoughts, the more we realize that we're not our thoughts. We are only perceiving our thoughts to be true. And once we get away from those thoughts, we can start to become loving thoughts, positive thoughts, happy thoughts, joyful thoughts, emotional thoughts energy and motion thoughts which are higher vibrating than the jealousy and the anger and the hatred thoughts. And we must understand that we become the thoughts. So once we have more positive thoughts, more loving thoughts, more happy thoughts, we ultimately end up becoming those happy, loving thoughts. And we then, when the jealousy thoughts come into our minds, or the angered thoughts come into our mind, we can see them from a mile away, and we can say, yeah, whatever, like, we don't need to grow them in our garden, because ultimately that's what we're doing. Is when a jealous thought comes into our minds, if we accept that, we grow that starts to grow within us. We start to, and then it starts to ultimately, when we grow it, it starts to produce, fruit from its tree, which is ultimately, a lot of the time, it's insecurities. It starts to breed insecurities in our garden. So it's all about realizing that the thoughts do not belong to us. We are infinite expressions of possibility, and thoughts are is perception. Thoughts are energy which we're perceiving within presence of existence. They don't belong to us. Once we detach from our thoughts, we then can start to understand that we're much more than thought. We are literally the canvas which has the infinite possibility to be painted on. Just because something's painting on our canvas in this moment doesn't mean that we can't blossom into a new potentiality, a new possibility. We can clear the canvas with time and love.